tossed around as a pejorative, in spite of the fact that it simply means believing in the right of Jewish people, like all people, to determine their own future, is not normal. No one in Canada should ever be afraid to call themselves a Zionist. I am a Zionist. And to everyone here today, a heartfelt thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules, not just to contribute to this vitally important conversation, but for choosing to step up and learn together how to tackle better the societal scourge that is anti-Semitism. I know the explosive rise of anti-Semitism we've seen since Hamas's heinous October 7th attacks had left Canada's Jewish community and Jewish communities around the globe feeling terrified and far too often alone. So your decision to recognize that everyone has a role in addressing anti-Semitism and your choice to be here today matters. A few weeks ago, I was in Poland to mark the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. I stood in the house of Rudolf Hess, the commandant of the concentration and extermination camp, a house mere steps away from the inhumanity, the evil, the genocide that he oversaw. I sat with leaders from around the globe to listen to the stories, the lessons from Auschwitz survivors. I paid tribute to the 1 million Jews who were systematically, deliberately murdered on those grounds, and the 5 million more who perished in the Shoah. There were many striking moments on that trip, but one has stuck with me ever since. Before making the drive to the commemoration ceremony, I had the privilege of sitting down with Miriam and Howard, two Canadian Auschwitz survivors who accompanied me to mark that important occasion. And after Howard recounted his family's harrowing ordeal, he turned to me and said that he was deeply worried. He was worried that people, especially younger generations, were forgetting how the Holocaust came to be or simply not being taught about it. He was worried about the rising wave of Holocaust denial and overt anti-Semitism that is becoming increasingly normalized. And he reminded me that Auschwitz did not fall from the sky. Auschwitz did not fall from the sky. That line was popularized 5 years ago at the 75th anniversary of Auschwitz's liberation by Marian Turski, who was also a Jewish Auschwitz survivor. And I say was, because sadly, after dedicating his life to fighting injustice, speaking out against anti-Semitism, and sharing his story, including once again at the ceremony I was at in January, Marian passed away just a few weeks ago at his home in Poland. With Marian's evocative words and his recent passing are a poignant reminder. His words are a poignant reminder that violent Jew hatred, that the Shoah did not start with the gas chambers, that the Nazi regime undertook a careful, deliberate, years-long process of dismantling democracy, co-opting institutions, and dehumanizing others to establish the conditions for genocide. But his passing is also a reminder that we're now 80 years removed from the Holocaust, that the generations to come will not be so fortunate as to learn directly from survivors, that, as Howard warned, as Miriam warned, and as Marian warned, memory is fading. Denialism is increasingly mainstream, and the warning lights are increasingly flashing red. And let there be absolutely no doubt, the warning lights are flashing red. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, particularly since Hamas's brutal, barbaric terrorist attack of October 7th. Holocaust denialism is on the rise. Violent extremism is on the rise. What you are experiencing is not normal. Anti-Semites singing the praises of Hamas and Hezbollah while waving their flags in the streets of our cities is not normal. Jewish students being shouted down in their classrooms and campuses for simply expressing their identity, their opinions, their beliefs is not normal. Synagogues and Jewish day schools being attacked and firebombed by cowards in the night is not normal. The increasingly common, deafening indifference toward or even rationalization of rising anti-Semitism is not normal. The term Zionist increasingly being tossed around as a pejorative, in spite of the fact that it simply means believing in the right of Jewish people, like all people, to determine their own future, is not normal. No one in Canada should ever be afraid to call themselves a Zionist. I am a Zionist. None of this is normal. And it is incumbent upon me and upon my successor as Prime Minister, upon the premiers, municipal leaders, police chiefs, and every single Canadian, particularly non-Jewish allies, to not only speak out against anti-Semitism, but to act, to stop its spread, and to take this deadly threat seriously.